Okay, this is beyond the pale. This is really annoying me, and it's very clear that Comrade Corbyn is at the beginning of a very dark road that ends in Venezuela. Corbyn calls for empty homes to be requisitioned. He's very angry about the Grenfell Tower disaster, and apparently that part of South Kensington is incredibly wealthy. It's the wealthiest part of the country. The ward where this fire took place is, I think, the poorest ward in the whole country, and the properties must be found, requisitioned if necessary, in order to make sure these residents do get rehoused locally. It cannot be acceptable that in London you have luxury buildings and luxury flats kept as land banking for the future while the homeless and poor look for somewhere to live. I'm hearing a lot of apologists say, no, this is only temporary, it's only temporary. Well, that's not how he makes it sound, is it? He makes it sound like he is suggesting they simply be given these properties to be rehoused. But hey, you know what? I'm happy to take your word for it. He did just mean temporarily. In which case, here is a list of hotels in Kensington. I'm happy for my tax money to be paid to the hotel to house these people until some other appropriate council housing is found. That's fine with me. But you know what's not fine with me? Simply requisitioning the property of foreign investors. I mean, do I have to explain to you again that Merkel is worried that we will undercut them with foreign investment? Do you know what's going to drive foreign investment away? That's right, not having secure property rights in Britain. And like I said, if you want to know where this road leads, you can just look at, I don't know what, Forbes? Are they acceptable? Or are they an evil right-wing rag that you can't possibly read? Venezuelans continue to fill the streets in what have been the largest anti-government protests in the country's history. As the economy continues to implode, the ruling Chavista regime increasingly looks set to make a scapegoat of foreign businesses. Oh, that sounds a bit fucking familiar, doesn't it? Maduro last week accused Movistar mobile company of joining a coup march against his government and helping the opposition stage the massive protests through its messaging services. The accusations on April 20th came just a day after the American company General Motors announced that the government authorities had led an illegal judicial seizure of its manufacturing plant that would force the car maker to exit the country and lay off nearly 2,700 employees. But fuck it, it was requisitioned for the people. What do you think, Labour voters? Do you think that's going to encourage foreign investment? Do you think they're just going to be like, well, you know, we're just doing it temporarily. We've got a good excuse to do this. And do you think the foreign investors are going to go, you know what? They probably do have a good excuse. I mean, it's okay. I mean, there was a reason for it. Everyone's got a reason for everything, so it's all right. Don't worry about it. We'll just throw our fucking money at Venezuela. What's that, Forbes? The regime will likely cease companies to pander to the radical left? Who else do we know who panders to the radical left? I just can't think of anyone. The risk of expropriation will rise as unpopular Maduro regime becomes increasingly eager to blame companies for the country's economic disarray. Amid the deep economic crisis, more foreign companies will seek to leave Venezuela and cut their losses. But the government will also move against those who have shown an inclination to remain in the country, and those that have maintained an amicable relationship with the government in the past. Maduro is running out of enemies to blame and companies to seize. This is the end result of what Corbyn is proposing. This is where it goes. Aside from large multinationals that have decided to wait for the economic storm to pass, the Maduro regime will begin by publicly threatening companies and seizing assets when it believes it can gain political points with radical supporters. And given the government is strapped for cash, companies can forget about receiving compensation for their assets anytime soon, which, unsurprisingly, Corbyn didn't even offer that. Corbyn wasn't even like, yeah, well, obviously we're going to have to compensate these people because we are just appropriating their private property. Doesn't matter, though. It's as if they don't fucking count. It's like they didn't pay money for that property. And then you've got bellends like James O'Brien on radio station Leading Britain's Conversation, who I've been following this guy for years now, in fact, and he is infuriating. Everything he does is the politics of feels. He doesn't care, he doesn't know, he doesn't understand any of this, he doesn't think slightly ahead of his own bleeding heart. Listen to this.
Oh, it's the politics of envy. Should we be requisitioning these houses?
You know, I don't know what annoys me more, the fact that I have to actually defend the rich, or the fact that you are such a fucking commie, you don't even see a problem with the government just appropriating someone else's property for something they didn't do. The rich people in that area are not responsible for this. They didn't cause it. You don't know who these people are. And then you go on to make up just a fictional example that suits your narrative.
If you've got people sleeping on the lawn outside the burnt out shell of their block of flats, and you've got a house over the road worth £10 million that nobody's slept in for 2 years because it's an asset simply accumulating value, I don't believe anybody, regardless of how conditioned you are by toxic media and how brainwashed we've become by the sort of Murdoch-Dacre axis, nobody's really going to stand there, are they? And say those people need to sleep on the lawn again tonight. How dare anybody suggest that we should be confiscating the keys of that empty house over the road? Are they really? Is that who we are now?
Earth to James, if you can put your feels aside for a moment, you might realise that is what we call a false dichotomy. The options are not sleep on the lawn or sleep in the stolen property of a millionaire. In between those two extremes, we have many various options. I mean, I don't know whether you've noticed, but a lot of lefty lovies live in Kensington. People like Lily Allen, millionaire champagne socialists, who could quite easily open their doors and say, hey, why don't you come in and stay with me until the government can figure something out? And I mean, I personally would go for the more sensible option of just housing them in hotels until something can be done. But that's just me, because that's sensible and pragmatic, and let's be fair, it's probably going to be a lot more comfortable for everyone involved. I'm sure these people wouldn't mind sleeping in some fancy hotels for a few weeks until the government can get something sorted. Don't you think so? But no, you know what we should do? Fuck the rich. Fuck them. Fuck them bringing their money here. Fuck them creating jobs here. Fuck it. Fuck it. Just fuck it, because why? We're not that kind of country, are we? We're not that kind of country. Think of the feels. Think of my feels.
To dress it up as some sort of communism when Jeremy Corbyn simply says,
it's called socialism, you idiot. This is exactly what it is. I mean, literally, word for word, this is the playbook. It begins with this, and it ends with the requisitioning of corporate property. And then you end up seeing corporate and capital flight, because the people who don't want their shit appropriated fucking leave. And that's in addition to all the massive tax hikes that you're undoubtedly going to increase. And again, it's not like we've got something existentially troublesome on the horizon. I mean, was there a thing? Oh, I can't remember. Something to do with Europe, I think it was. Something about, I don't know. It was going to cause huge financial havoc unless we play our cards right. I don't know, James. You're the one with the fantastic memory. You tell me.
I mean, he probably doesn't know the number. I'm cursed with the anorak memory. That means I know there's 1,399 empty properties in the Royal Borough of Kensington and Chelsea right now. Some of them will be social housing. I've got an empty social housing flat on my road. I hate the way they put up the metal shutters over the windows and stuff like that, because it kind of blights the street a bit, but it's only temporary. To suggest that temporarily people who are sleeping on grass could be put in an empty house over the road that hasn't had anybody in it for 2 years because the Russian fella that owns it has just got it as the bricks and mortar equivalent of gold bullion. I'm really sorry, but I don't think we want to be like this.
James, I hate to tell you this, but you can't run an economy around your feelings. You have to be pragmatic, and you have to be sensible, and you have to understand that actions have consequences. If you start punitively attacking the rich, they will defend themselves. It ends in a spiral of hyperinflation, more property confiscations, and eventually people going fucking hungry. It ends in revolution, which is where Venezuela is now. And I know that Comrade Corbyn was a brilliant fan of Chavez. I'm sure that he was another hero of social justice, but I'm telling you right now, you don't know what you're doing. You do not know for what you are advocating, and it's dangerous. And the people of I've got loads of Venezuelan subscribers who are honestly, I touched on this the other day in a video, and they were all over my ass going, dude, you are underplaying this. And I was like, well, I know, but I didn't want to get into a big thing. I didn't want to get sidetracked. It's a long way down the road. You know, it took like Venezuela 8 years from capital flight to get to hyperinflation. So I didn't want to rush the case. But I'm sorry, James. I'm sorry. What you're advocating for here is lunacy. What Corbyn is advocating for here is lunacy, and will end with the ruin of the country. There are other ways to help people that don't involve violating other people's rights. And the fact that you are so blasé about this, it's amazing. It's what I find this is perfect. You never think it will happen to you. That's what it is. You don't think at some point it will be your property being taken. And that's why you're okay with it. But the thing is, James, I'm not. I don't think it's acceptable to take anyone's property arbitrarily. This isn't a time of war. This is a disaster. But we can handle that. We can put money into it. We can look after these people, and we can do that while not attacking people who weren't responsible for the disaster in the first place.